Universal Audio has just released the best deal in audio this year, maybe even ever, and that's their producer bundle, 22 plugins for $99. That's less than $5 a plugin from a company that's known to have very expensive plugins. Not sponsored, by the way. I didn't get these plugins for free. I spent my money on these before this deal, so I spent way more than $99 on all these plugins. It is a lot of plugins, so I'm gonna try to show off a good amount of them, especially the instruments, because the bundle does have instruments and effect plugins. So let's get to it. So starting off with instruments, the bundle does include 6 instruments. It's 3 synths, a grand piano, an organ, and an electric piano. Let's start off with the electric piano, the Electra 88. So to show off some of the sounds, I'm gonna do this for every plugin. I have a MIDI in place. I'm just gonna let it play and go through some of the presets. The Electra 88 is actually my go-to electric piano plugin. I just love how it sounds. You can do so much with it. It has built-in effects pedals and amps, and it even has studio effects that are based on some of their plugins that they have. But of course, it's all about the sound, right? So let's go through some sounds. So those are some of the presets. There's actually a lot here. This is all of them. And let me show off a couple of the ones I really like I have starred. Like this one is crazy. Perfect for lo-fi. We got this one. It's a great R&B, like pad-like sound. Amazing. There's a lot more I can go into about the Electra 88, but there's a lot of plugins in this bundle, so let's move on to the next one. Next, we got Polymax, which is more of an analog synth-style plugin. One of my favorite synth plugins. I love the way it sounds. I even have an expansion pack that I made for it with my own presets. Maybe I'll show off a few of those, but let's get through some of these sounds. Let's go into some of the pads first. Those are some of the pad sounds. I chose to show off some of the pad sounds because I feel like with the analog style synths, pads really show off what that synth can do. And a shameless plug, I do have an expansion pack for Polymax with presets that I created myself. I'll show off a couple of those. All right, so that's Polymax. Next, we got the Mini Moog. Now, if you don't know about the actual hardware, Mini Moog, it's a really famous mono synth with a classic sound, really well known for its basses. So let's go through a couple of those. I didn't have a MIDI for this one just because it's monophonic. I'm just going to randomly play notes on the keyboard so you guys can hear how it sounds. Now with the Mini Moog, it's also really well known for its leads. The lead on Nothing Was a G Thing by Dr. Dre was a Mini Moog. Alright, so that's the Mini Moog. We gotta get through these. There's still 3 more instruments. Next we have the Ravel Grand Piano. Not many presets, but it's a piano. So you got a lot of great sounds, great tones from it. And it sounds like this. Great sounding piano. That's all we really need to get into for this one, but it's just a great go-to piano plugin. Next we got Opal, which is a wavetable synth. For this one, I don't have a MIDI either. I'm just gonna play randomly some chords or some notes to hear some of the sounds. Feel the best of. You get a lot of analog tones with this too. So those are some of the sounds. I was just randomly clicking through some of them. But that should give you somewhat of an idea of what this synth can do. Finally, we got the B3 organ. This is one of the most famous organs ever. A lot of plugin companies try to replicate this specific style of organ. So let's go through some of the sounds. I feel like when you're going for that organ sound, this kind of hit every mark. All right, so now that we're done with the instruments, let's go into some of the effects. Now, a handful of these effects are also available in the UAD Essentials collection, which I've done a video on before. So if you want to hear those effects in action, go check out that video. I'm not really going to go over those effects. I'm going to go through the effects that aren't in that bundle that are in this one. I know everyone has seen this before, maybe not this exact plugin, but this style of plugin, which is the 1176. You know, a lot of companies create their own 1176. This is one of the most famous compressors ever. Universal Audio Bundle does come with 3 versions of this plugin, modeled after each of the hardware models. And the thing is, while other companies have this style of plugin, Universal Audio is the one who actually makes the hardware as well. Let's just dial in some compression. On 1176s, pushing the attack up actually makes the attack faster. So just messing around just a little bit. I didn't really do too much. I just brought the attack up. I brought the input up just to get more compression. I level matched them as well. So on the meters, they are hitting at the exact same level. Sometimes we trick our ears into thinking it sounds better just because it's louder, but it's very subtle. But this is before. This is after. You hear how it just like brings it forward? It brought it forward and just gave it more presence. Now remember, a lot of these like mixing style effects are meant to be subtle. They're not like crazy effect plugins that drastically change the sound. A lot of these are more for color and for slight changes that add up in the mix. So another plugin that's included is this Waterfall Rotary, which is actually an effect from the B3 organ, but now you can kind of take it and put it on anything you want. So when you put this plugin on something, it's using the Rotary speaker as the output. So let's hear how it sounds. There's a lot of presets as well. So this is a straight up vibe maker, you know, throw it on something, you can get that old vintage sound out of pretty much anything. Now let's go back to our Electra 88. We can show off the Studio D Chorus plugin. Let me just show you guys what it sounds like default before, after. It just opens it up. Go through some presets. So you guys don't forget what it sounded like before. Great plugin for adding width and fullness to your tracks. Now with Studio D Chorus, I'm gonna throw it on the Polymax one as well, just to show you how like it can just make your synth sound bigger. So this is what it sounded like before. And this is default, by the way. I didn't tweak it at all. Now let's get into the Galaxy Tape Echo on Polymax. It's a recreation of the rolling tape delay, very famous delay, and you can just use this to add a lot of space to your tracks. So you can use it as like a reverb or delay. Special effects. Alright, so that's a good amount of effects in the UAD Producer Edition. I mainly focused on the instruments because this is the Producer Edition, so it is definitely tailored towards music production. And when it comes to music production, definitely want to show off the instrument sounds, while like, you know, there's other bundles that are meant for mixing, so they wouldn't really have too many instruments. But pretty much this bundle has every instrument that is currently out by Universal Audio. That's probably why it is the producer edition. There are a handful of other plugins as well. There are 22 plugins. And as I mentioned earlier, I do have all the plugins that I paid way more than $99 for. So if you're in the market for plugins and you love great deals, this is that one. Usually with my plugin videos, I usually don't say whether or not you should get it. It's more about, oh, if you like what you heard, then check it out. But this one, I can definitely recommend getting just because of the quality. Universal Audio makes top tier plugins and it's less than $5 a plugin. But if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me exactly what you think, subscribe for more videos, and check me out my social medias and my music and all streaming platforms, all linked down below as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
They don't know what it takes for you to chase your dreams. All these sacrifices don't know what it brings. This just feels so right, yeah. This just feels so right, yeah.